What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about arguably the most talked about transformation in all of Dragon Ball and discuss how this level of power affects the future of this franchise. You guessed it, I'm talking about
Autonomous Ultra Instinct!
Now, I remember when this episode dropped and Ultra Instinct was first revealed to us, and oh my god, the hype was unbelievable. It felt like the world came to a stop when they dropped this on us. You had to be there to know what I'm talking about. It was a great time to be a Dragon Ball fan. We were back on top. The transformation was nothing we had ever seen before. Up to this point in Dragon Ball Super, the last time we saw an original and unique transformation was Super Saiyan God. Sure, there was Super Saiyan Blue, but that is literally just a reskin of Super Saiyan. For decades, Dragon Ball transformations were all about raw power, pushing beyond physical limits, and screaming really, really loud. But Ultra Instinct introduced a different concept: autonomous movement. Instead of the brain processing an attack and then sending signals to the body to react, Ultra Instinct bypasses that entirely. Every part of the body moves and reacts on its own, guided by pure instinct. It's the pinnacle of defensive and offensive ability, where thought doesn't even enter the equation. We saw Goku achieve different levels of the state, from the imperfect Ultra Instinct sign to the complete mastered Ultra Instinct, each with its own distinct look and power level. The silver hair, the calm demeanor, it all signified a being operating on a completely different plane. Now let's talk about where we are currently. The last time we saw Ultra Instinct in its full glory was the Gordola arc. We've seen Goku tap into mastered Ultra Instinct, and even Vegeta found his own unique path with Ultra Ego, a form fueled by a god of destruction's power, and his own Saiyan pride, of course. This is fascinating because it shows us that they both aren't just destined for one ultimate form. They're evolving in different directions, reflecting their individual personalities and fighting styles. Goku seeks more serene mastery, while Vegeta embraces his warrior spirit. So this brings us to the million Zenny question. What could possibly be the next step? How can they surpass Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, or do they even need to do that at this point? I mean, we literally are at the point where our boys are at the level of gods. I know Dragon Ball is about pushing past your limits, but we're kind of hitting a ceiling here, aren't we? So here are a few possibilities I've been thinking about. What if when this whole thing with Black Frieza finally comes into play, and they, and by they I mean Vegeta, hopefully kill him off, they reach the end of Z? So hear me out, despite gaining all of these god-type power-ups and abilities in Dragon Ball Super, at the end of Dragon Ball Z, which takes place years after the events of Super, the timeline, Goku nor Vegeta show any signs of knowing any of these abilities. Now, granted, the real-world explanation is obviously because Dragon Ball Super wasn't a thing back then. So maybe they rewrite and retcon the ending of Z to fit all the new established lore in Dragon Ball Super, and let our boys pass the torch to the next generation of heroes. You know, they could still continue to train and all that because they obviously aren't just going to sit still, but we shift the focus of the series to Goten, Trunks, Pan, and for God's sake, Oob. This is something I think the fanbase has wanted for a long time, and something I think needs to happen soon. As much as I obviously love Goku and Vegeta, I think the franchise needs to show that it's more than just about them. They can do something similar to GT, where Goku, Vegeta, and even Gohan as well mentor these young characters and prepare them for a time when they won't be around anymore. And obviously there's this thing with Broly right now in Super, training on Beerus' planet with Goku and Vegeta, but let's just assume he went somewhere else after learning to control his power and can return for future arcs when things really get crazy. The current story is creeping closer to the end of Z with each passing chapter of the manga, so they can only put it off for so long. I think this is something they seriously need to consider happening soon. And the other possibility is they continue putting off reaching the end of Z and explore the different universes established in Dragon Ball Super. Now here's the thing about this option. Like I said before, our boys are literally on the level of gods, so what could you possibly do to keep the train rolling but keep things interesting as well without getting too ridiculous with the power scaling? Maybe you circle back to Dragon Ball Daima of Super Saiyan 4 and fix that major plot hole. You can write that it's not necessarily stronger than Ultra Instinct, but it's Goku's most aggressive form, still keeping it in line with the concept of the original Super Saiyan transformations. And it can be utilized when he really has his back against the wall and just needs to completely let loose. And while traveling to these different universes, our heroes can meet new people and encounter new villains, while exploring vast, new, and unique lands just like in classic Dragon Ball. So, to summarize, the two options I see going forward are either let our heroes retire and pass the torch to a new generation, which personally I think is the best route, or we continue with them but find more unique ways to not necessarily push beyond the level of a god, but just keep things on a more grounded level and technique-based, much like original Dragon Ball. I just think at this point, if they try to say at some point that Goku and Vegeta have surpassed gods, I think it'll just get a little ridiculous. Cause to be honest with you, even when the concept of God power made its way to Dragon Ball, I was a little hesitant at first, but overall they did a good job introducing it. But I think this is as far as it should go with the power scaling, and find its way back to a more martial arts based series. Well, that'll do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button along with the notification bell to stay updated on when new content like this drops, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!